Or yes, I'm back. I know it's been like forever since I've had a podcast for the more self discovery. But yes, I'm back. So welcome everybody. I hope everybody is having a wonderful evening. I am here because I really wanted to talk with someone who I have met recently through a Facebook Facebook group that I'm in. And her conversation, her live in our Facebook group really resonated with me spiritually because she was talking about her journey as far as being a people pleaser. So I thought that would be a great topic for me to get into as part of our journey to more self discovery. So I wanted to welcome my special guest, Chanita Pack, and she is a creative artist here in the Cleveland area. So I really wanted to bring her on so we can talk more about being a people pleaser, because I know I have those tendencies. And I'm sure a lot of you out there in the audience and listening world have those type of tendencies too. We just want to just give just have a chat. So, Chanita, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Harry, and thank you for inviting me. And to anyone listening, there's a reason she said Shanita. Shanita is because I have like 5,000 pronunciations. If you, if you if you say Shanita, preferably Shanita. If you say Shanita, it doesn't offend me. I'm like, yeah, okay. Just don't say Chiquita because I am not Chiquita.
No, you're not. You're not the Chiquita as the banana. No.
Yeah.
So, Chanita, just give us an overview of how what you do and who you are, and incidentally, we both belong to a Facebook group for it's called Sisters in Business. We both have our own little businesses, and we connected through that type of Facebook group. So, just tell us about yourself a little bit, and what you do, and just talk about briefly about how you deemed yourself as a or was or going through the journey of not was being a people pleaser and how you're evolving from that.
Okay. Well, my business is my brand is called As Is. My business is As Is Creations. I'm an artist. To be honest, I feel like the word artist doesn't fully capture what I'm up to. I'm a rather talented person. Music is my first love. So most people know me.
Mm, okay.
And yeah, I come from a musical family. I come from a spiritual family. And my intention with As is to use all the gifts that I have, particularly visual and performing arts, to help Black people heal and embrace our authentic selves. Uh,
Mm,
so it's kind of like the same methods that have been used to brainwash us. I intend to use those to deprogram us. So I say that, and because it's that, I say that um, I don't feel like there's anything in the English language that fully captures what As Is. So I say it's an invitation for those of us who want to get off the psychological plantation.
mm,
Because most
mm.
people know about some t-shirts that I sell with an image on it with my logo. Cute little girl on it has the words As Is, and there's also a boy. I sell the t-shirts periodically, but then there's been a few times in which I've offered workshops. It's
Oh, okay.
it's my business, so I can do whatever I feel I need to offer to help us clean up our stuff. That's not the word I use, but
Right, right. I get you.
right.
So we're
Um,
going to talk. Yeah, we're going to talk about where people can reach out to you in the end. But I want to talk about your revelation of how you defined yourself initially as a person. What was your defining moment? Can you give us an example?
you know, overall, it was Okay, first I would say that my experience of being a people pleaser is more so like putting everyone else before me, like making them a priority, making their needs a priority.
Mhm.
And um when I was younger, I know that I had access, thankfully, to a lot of stuff. I was my parents had me involved with a lot of things, and I was very talented. I was involved in things, and then I felt like my friends weren't going in the same directions as me.
Mhm.
The way that I held myself back, not consciously. I don't think it was consciously. It's been only within the past several years that I realized what I did. There's a way that I have tended to your well-being before my own.
Right.
I could be fine and I'll stop and I'm like, wait, here, are you good? You good? And I gotta stop whatever just to make sure you're okay.
Mhm.
No, no, my and stuff could be now. Things could be happening to me. I could be experiencing hardship, but it's okay. I need to make sure you're okay.
Mhm.
And something happened recently where I was about to. Well, I attended a conference last week called Futureland.
Mhm.
And for those of you who don't know, this is a conference for people in the industry of tech, art, and culture here in Cleveland.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it was a big deal to be there. So someone gifted me with tickets to be there.
Mhm.
They gave me 2 tickets to say who will I give the other ticket to, and I decided to offer the other ticket to a fellow artist. And I used to be very supportive of this friend a couple of years back.
Mhm.
He's more involved into visual arts than I am, and I was, making sure he's good. And so I give him the ticket, the virtual ticket. He didn't go. Let me put this back.
Hmm.
He didn't go. But even before then, because he said he was gonna go, I was like, okay. But when I thought about offering him a ride, because I know he doesn't have
Mhm.
more, I thought about offering him a ride. So I was like, don't do that, don't do that. It's like, okay, make sure you get downtown first. I get down.
Mhm.
At some point while I'm down there, I'm texting him to let him know, like, okay, this is what's going on. I checked this out and blah blah blah. So he'll know what to expect.
Mhm.
And I'm parked at City Hall, which was several blocks. It was like a 15-minute walk, 13 to 15-minute walk from the actual venue.
Oh,
That's that's
wow.
that's another story. But I send him a text telling him something. No, I see that he responds. He responded to my earlier text, let him know what to expect when he got here. And I'm considering offering him a ride. I'm
Mhm.
leaving downtown and driving to go get him, which probably would have taken, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes to get to him and then 15, 20 minutes to get back.
Mm.
Just because I had this window and thought, so I said, are you at home? I text, are you at home? And he says, yeah.
Mm.
I
Mhm.
asked if he was at home because I was also wondering if he was on his way.
Right. Right. Right.
If he was on his way.
Mhm.
And somebody said, don't offer him a ride, wait and see if he'll ask. Make him ask, and when he responded that, yeah, he was at home, something's like, you know what? You did your part.
Right.
You gave him the ticket, and this was a $99 ticket.
Wow.
Um, you 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 made all these calls, sent emails and inbox messages to make sure that the second ticket was corrected, that my name was taken off and his information was put on there. You did all of that. You really want to make sure
Mhm.
he had a smooth um, uh, experience as far as checking in,
Mhm.
getting into the different workshops and all that. It's like you gave him a 90. He knew how much the tickets. It said, something's like, go get your blessing. You're not responsible
Mm.
for him. Go get your blessings. Don't burn gas to go get him and make sure, like, oh, you got to participate. You may miss out. Like, no, you may miss out.
Right. Right. So that was your epiphany. And did he ever did he, so what was the outcome of all that? He
Uh,
just kind of fluffed you off and didn't
what
give you an
he
explanation?
There was, okay, so he missed out on the conference, the official conference.
Mm-hmm.
There were these extra events that took place, and there was an excursion that took place where you can get a tour of Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
different little things. So that was on Saturday. I signed up for that one. You got on the bus, and I signed up for the one that gave you a tour of what they're calling our Cleveland's Black Wall Street. And
Okay.
so there's morning trips and there's afternoon. I took the morning. When we pull up, we're down in the flats in downtown Cleveland. When we pull up, and there's a line of people waiting for the afternoon, and I see
Mm-hmm.
him there.
Oh, so he did make his way down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but so he made his way to this, but you missed the whole, because it was, if I really think about it, Futureland was a huge networking event.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he enjoyed himself on that little bit that he went on, but that was just an extra perk.
Right.
That was just an extra perk. But and I had to tell myself, you're not responsible for him. See, that's what that people please. It's like, you know what, like always making sure, like, are you okay? You missing out? You missing out? So I'm like, no,
Mm-hmm.
that's on him.
So was that experience, was that the epiphany of you of realizing that you want to make sure that everybody else is good, whether, you're going out of your way, kind of denying your own needs just to make sure everybody else is good? Was that the final straw, so to speak, of realizing that you are essentially a people person?
Yeah, and I would say, to be honest, um, I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. It's scary, and I say that because apparently somewhere in me, I felt that I had to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all take on these traits. We think we have to be this way, and it essentially boils down to, I got to be this way to survive.
Right.
And I feel like there's a fear that uh, several things are in there, like fear of abandoning someone thinking I abandoned them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, being considered the bad guy because I took care of self.
Mm-hmm.
That one right there, this whole like self-sacrifice and stuff is not working. It's not working.
Right. And we talked about this off air, about the self-sacrificing, that we are conditioned, especially for women and particularly for women of color, Black women. We are so used to being taking care of everybody else, everybody else's needs. And, you know, we've seen, like we've mentioned before off air, we've seen our grandmothers and great grandmothers, and taking care of everybody else, taking care of their family, taking care of their employer, taking care of whatever other than themselves, and they don't have enough energy, or just depleted by the time their own family needs need to be met, and they're just depleted, exhausted. So that's something that, we as Black women particularly, that, that's something that that's something that's been ingrained in us. So it is
Exactly.
hard. Yeah, it is hard to flip that, the script, so to speak. So how are you flipping the script, so to speak?
Baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now that apparently I've pointed myself in that direction, there's so many fears that I've addressed and I freed myself from. So this is no different. So I'm having to tell myself, okay, um, even me being candid, letting you all know, like, I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
Because my body, like, what are you? We don't do that. You gotta make sure that this person is okay. You can't. I mean, having to talk to myself, that part of me, and get her to understand you're not being the bad guy. You're not hurting anyone. You're not
Right.
hurting anyone. And I think it's because of, well, I suspect there's probably something that I experienced in my past. Perhaps my, I think I associated, it's not the only thing, but I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who can unfortunately relate to molestation. And I
Mm-hmm.
because I was left alone, something bad happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I might, like, if you really dig deep into your stuff, it's amazing what comes up, like takes you
Yeah.
back to when you're 8 or 4 or something. And I know
Right.
I never wanted to be like the people who, I never wanted to inflict harm on anyone the way people have inflicted harm on me. So
Mm.
that's one thing. And then it became, you know, because of the way my young mind interpreted what happened. Their
Mm-hmm.
fear of, well, I can't leave Harriet, or I can't tend to my stuff and what I desire and what I need. Are you good? Are you
Mm-hmm.
okay? Making sure you're okay. Are you okay? Because I think somewhere in the back of my head, I think something's going to happen to you if I don't.
Hmm. So
You know, like,
you take on the responsibility of someone else's, well-being, and you
big
carry
time,
that burden.
big time.
Mm-hmm.
Even I had an ex-boyfriend who pointed that out. He said, "You always keep worrying about me." I said, "What about
Mm-hmm.
you?" And mind you, it's not that I'm that way in all areas of my life, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a certain way that it shows up. Yeah.
What is it that really the flashing lights? What is it that can you pinpoint exactly when it shows up, or it just
It,
depends?
anyone that well, I don't know of anyone. Certain people that I feel are loved ones. It can be male or female. That much I know,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not just about men. Um, there were going back to my childhood. There were opportunities that I had that I passed up because the door wasn't open for my friends.
Mm.
And so, I mean, I'm standing right there in the door, and someone can be inviting me to something. And I'm like, no. Well, hold up. Let me see if this person wants to go. I'm like, hey.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if some of that is well, it just comes from how I interpreted things as a child, because I had no adults to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I didn't have my parents in my life. I'm saying I didn't have conversations with them.
Mm-hmm.
And like, my dad was the typical provider, so his whole thing is go to work, come
Mm-hmm. Right.
home. And by the way, my father, all my friends know this, is like, for those of you who are old enough to know this, my father is George Jefferson, Fred Sanford, and James Madison.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no Cliff Huxtable in there. And my mom was my mom was like, what was her name? Florence, the maid from
Mm.
the Jeffersons, mixed with Aunt Esther. So,
Oh, okay.
imagine these two people married to each other. It's funny. But my mom was my biggest cheerleader, and
Mm-hmm.
is when I was really small. And at that time, I had no problem being the best. I had no problem if I got the best grades. I had no problem if I had something someone else didn't have, or I didn't think that
Mm-hmm.
much of it. And then unfortunately, her mental illness kicked in, and I think
Mm.
started to I start questioning my own mind, my own original
Mhm.
thoughts. And it just, I don't know. I'm curious to know, like, how not having her to talk to or any other adult, um, how much that played a role in me really misinterpreting a lot of stuff growing up. Like,
Right.
really thinking that, like, I didn't understand all the ways that jealousy would show up. You know,
Mm.
I would hear other kids talk about someone, and someone, oh, look at him. He's always raising his hand. He's always giving the answer and all. It's not the people directing towards me. I would hear them say it about someone else,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and oh, I could get it. So I would interpret it like, oh, really? Shouldn't do that, huh? Shouldn't raise our hand. Like, shouldn't be the one giving all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
But because I caught so much hell at home because of my mom's mental illness, because she
Mm-hmm.
became um, verbally abusive.
Mm.
I can't catch hell outside of this house.
Right.
I have to survive in this school. And
Mm-hmm.
what can I do for you to not bother me? And that may have contributed to me also feeling, okay, what do you need? I got
Mm-hmm.
to don't bother you. And if you are trying, I'm actually figuring this out as I'm talking to you. If you say something like, Dad, Shanita, why are you, you know, whatever,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
why you always getting the solo, or why you this, or maybe you didn't say it. I'm just assuming you're going to say it. Now I'll
Mm-hmm.
stop, and now it's like, okay, well, what are you doing? Let's do what do you want to do? What do you need? Where do you want to go?
So once again, it's the pattern of denying yourself, denying what you want to do in order to. And as kids, is it for to fit in, so to speak, to speak,
That,
or yeah.
or and you know what? Okay, and there's kind of a distinction between it. Because you don't feel like it's more so about fitting in. It's like, but definitely not fitting out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I definitely can't afford to be an outcast. I can't afford that because I think it's gonna hurt. I think I'll die.
Right. Right. Wow.
I even went to I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the friends that I made at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even pick a school based on what my true desires were. I remember meeting an elder who heard me sing. He's like, you should have gone to like Bethune-Cookman or something like that. And I was just like, uh, no, I didn't take that road. I really call myself taking the path to be normal, to
Mm-hmm.
and to be like others. And anyway, and I feel like that's also a way of me thinking that I'm doing what other people like. I'm doing what I feel makes sense to everybody else. Not what I want,
Mm-hmm.
but I think makes sense to everybody else.
So tell us, what are you doing to? What is your journey now to your self discovery after knowing all this? You very clearly aware of the who, what, when, where, and why. So what are you doing now to combat those old thoughts, those old habits?
Um, First, I've I started doing a lot of stuff in private. Like, I had
Mm-hmm.
to enjoy my own company, and so writing a lot. And when I say doing a lot of stuff by myself, because then I started doing things that pique my interest. That
Mm-hmm.
um, even if it's something like certain movies that maybe I have more of an interest in than I think my peers do, I'll just go to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Going to some event, I've done a lot by myself. I've learned
Mm-hmm.
myself so much that now I need to learn how to be with people.
Mm.
So I have to learn how to connect with people of like mind. So I think it's safe to say that the internet helped when even before social media, when we were in these Yahoo chat rooms,
Right.
I got to share my interests. And like in a way, I'm hiding behind the monitor. Like for
Mm-hmm.
example, um, at the time, and maybe even with some folks now, I was Black and I like rock music.
Mm.
Like the people around me aren't liking rock, but I'm like, but I like rock.
Right.
So the internet helped me a lot because I can say like I like rock, and then all of a sudden connect with other Black people that like rock. I'm like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Those things start boosting my self-esteem, my confidence, and like, yeah, these are my interests. Um, as I heal my relationship with money, ooh, come on, all y'all. Remember, more than once I've heard of how money is just energy. It's a
Mm-hmm.
reflection of energy. And am I repelling it? Which I was, and so I've had to learn how to receive.
Mm.
I got a massage today. I'm used to giving massages. I got a massage today. I can count on one hand the number of times I've received a massage. And
Mm-hmm.
today I think I've gotten a little better with just receiving. Like, in fact, someone treated me to the massage on top of it.
Oh
So,
wow.
so it's like, will you just learn to just receive instead of, letting my mind wander like, okay, is this person okay? Is the temperature in the room okay? Like, it's like, he will say he needs something if he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really baby steps of allowing myself to receive and convincing myself that actually, uh, yeah, you're okay to be selfish in this way.
Mm-hmm. And like we talked about, prior to this show, that you can't be good to anyone else until you're good to yourself. So you got to take care of yourself first. Like the airplane analogy, when the plane,
Yeah.
yeah, put the oxygen mask on you first, and then you assist or help others. So.
And I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, that message, I would have no problem telling someone else that. Now I have to
Mm,
convince myself that because I think it's all those doggone whoopings I got. And
mm,
people talking about, the thing about good and bad. When you're just little, I'm still that kid interpreting things of, I gotta be good. I can't be bad. And I'm
mm-hmm,
interpreting being like tending to self as being bad. So I'm still working on convincing her it's not
mm-hmm.
being bad.
Right, right. So tell us, how do you tell us about your artists, your creations.
That okay. What I've noticed lately is, and yeah, I have no way of showing you anything right now. But yeah, we'll go to that. I so check this out. So I used to draw a lot when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
My things were always singing, acting, and drawing. I stopped drawing around the age of 14,
Mm-hmm.
and that had a lot to do with the way the curriculum was set up in my school. And I wouldn't draw at home because my mom was great. I wasn't doing anything at home.
Mm-hmm.
I fill that void with baked goods.
Mm.
And I didn't know that until around the mid 2000s. I figured that out, and I gained a lot of weight, and I was filling that void with cake and cookies and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what I've learned is, for me, drawing art is my voice, my self-expression. So I say I'm in a place of self-discovery. This is me finding through my art, if I'm painting, if I'm creating something like with ceramics or whatever I feel like doing. I feel like I'm finally letting that girl, like,
Mm-hmm.
in fact, I'm gonna say the name the way my mom named Chanita. I'm letting Chanita get out what she has to get out, because something that I mentioned when we talked beforehand, something I learned in school, and maybe some folks can relate to this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I mastered how to give teachers what I felt they wanted, not
Mm.
not what I really want. Write on the paper what I think you want to hear, not
Mm-hmm.
not how I really feel.
Right. Right.
So I lost
Wow.
my. So I'm reclaiming my voice through my art, and wrestling with that thought of, am I crazy? Because it's my creativity and no one else has it. So I'm always wrestling with um, that fear of being wrong. And a lot of that stems from something that happened in kindergarten with art.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, that's not how you do it. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I especially um I love drawing people, for I paint more, but someone shared with me a style that they really felt I should do. I've seen the style, and apparently everyone's like, that's you. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it until I don't want to do it anymore. So it's I call them my little ancestral paintings. And
Mm.
if anyone looks at what I do, if you go to my as is pages, not my as is, I'm sorry, my Instagram pages. I have two pages. One is more so for as is, which is me um promoting the imagery of as is and encouraging you all to embrace yourself as is. The other page, Shanita World, is more so allowing folks to look into enter my world of creativity, whatever that may be. It may not just be art, be
Mm-hmm.
anything inside. And this is also my way of letting that little girl know she's not crazy.
I think being, eh, you know, using your talent to express yourself is the most effective way. And for those who can relate, I'm gonna put it's okay. I'm gonna put your information in the show notes because I'm sure there's a lot of us, myself included, who can, definitely relate. And I think what you're doing is phenomenal. Um, we as
Yeah.
Black women, like I said, we been so suppressed for so long, and so you expressing yourself as way you want to, and like you said, Shanita's world is for people to really know you, who your authentic self. And I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that. So I will definitely put that out there in the show notes. It's at the first one is at as is creations. That's your Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay, and the other one is Shanita's World.
Yeah. Just Shanita World. No S at the
Shanita
end.
World. Okay, got you.
And that
Okay.
actually came about because someone I'm from Cleveland, but I moved to California, and I'll never forget someone pointed out to me, she's older, much older, and she's pointing out to me how there are men who find me attractive, and I'm like, I don't see it. And she's like, but they're different out there in the Bay Area, like out
Mm-hmm.
a little more direct. So
Mm-hmm.
she pointed us like, I'm just in Shanita World. Yeah, I don't. Like, you gotta be direct if you want to get in here. He needs to be there. And there were
Mm-hmm.
things that I noticed I would just say Shanita World. But I appreciate you inviting me over this because it's something I also realized as I said that about, then there's the fear of like, am I crazy? Just being myself.
Right.
That whole thing is still, there's still a way. Well, this is another way that the people pleasing comes up. The a fear of being myself fully, because even I'm trying to figure like, well, who am I versus the mask that I've taken on, all in effort to make sure that everybody's okay around me, everybody's comfortable around me.
Right. Right. And again, it's like I've discovered, we talked about this, in the end, nobody who's going to care. I mean, we're putting ourselves out here, making sure that everybody else is fine. Even sometimes, let's be honest. Sometimes, we put ourselves out there for family members who really, if we die tomorrow, I mean, they'll mourn, but they'll just go right on. It'll be, business as usual the next day. So it's about, it's about taking care of yourself first, and then then you choose who you want to, who you want to put yourself out there to. It's no obligation that you have to, save the world. And we just can't, no matter how hard we try, and we just can't do it.
That saving the world, it's kind of like, I gotta be the martyr, or I
right.
gotta be the hero. Oh, and here's another thing I wonder if people, I think there's also an arrogance there, or at least for me. There's an arrogance there because, growing up and you see these stories of heroes or heroines, there's this thing of like, well, if I sacrifice, I'm the hero, I'm the heroine, the shero, and that makes me lovable because everyone loves the hero.
Right.
The more I suffer, for anyone who, if you really think about this, if you grew up in a church, and although I don't follow any religion anymore, but definitely gotta consider the impression I had of like, well, who made a bigger sacrifice than Jesus?
Right.
So, and everyone loves him. So, I wonder what that does. I'm like, okay, I gotta keep sacrificing in order to be loved. And I gotta make the ultimate sacrifices.
And
never mind me. How are you?
Right. Exactly. Well, we're going to wrap it up, but I'm going to make sure everybody, who's listening, please check out Shanita's Instagram. Please follow her. Do you do, like, if anybody wants a self-portrait, or, I mean, how do you do, what type of business do you offer for those who might be interested?
Honestly, I only do stuff that I'm inspired to do. Like, I found myself waking up one morning, surprisingly, and as I got up out of my bed, something said, do something with the Qs. For those of you familiar with fraternities, Omega Psi Phi, I was like, what? I did it. And I painted a picture of my cousin, who's that, and he bought it. And then a old classmate saw it and was like, hey, so I will say this. Look at my work. If there's something you desire, it doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. I put it that way because I love to be of service, and if I can, I will.
There you go. Your choice. Whatever it's your choice.
Right. But I will tell you this: when people have asked me to paint pictures of them, it always has to be a picture that I choose, because it has to be something that speaks to me, because I'm always trying to capture what it is I see in that photo.
Wow. And that's a true artist. That's using your creativity. That's a true artist.
And it's, I'm like, I really love capturing the spirit of people, and I can't help but see the good in folks. So I'm like, I gotta capture what I see right here. And Oh, I wanted to say this before we go, because you said something that has me thinking, and maybe it'd be. I'm saying this to myself, and it could be encouragement to anyone looking. Is
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's a matter of us choosing to take the one step and to trust that we will connect with the right people who respect us, respecting ourselves, putting ourselves first. They're the people in our
Wow.
lives, including family, like you said, who when you make yourself a priority, they have a problem with that. And I guess it's ooh, my body is shaking right now as I speak this. So I guess I'm having to learn th- that this is a psychological plantation, to trust that um, we'll be okay,
Mm-hmm.
either either letting those people go or redefining who they are in our lives, and trusting that I'm going to use the word better folks
Mm-hmm.
show up. And there's a line in the song by Earth, Wind, and Fire called Fantasy that sticks with me. And that's the line in that song is what encouraged me. Well, what when I had the thought to move to California, and it was a gut feeling, I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I was worried I was crazy. Like, what is this strong feeling? But this line in the song says, you will find other kind that have been in search of you. And I went out there and I met more folks of like mind and spirit. And now I'm back here in Cleveland meeting more people of like mind and like spirit.
Wow. Wow. What an ending and what a perfect saying, as Earth, Wind, and Fire is my all time favorite
Hey,
band. That's my all time. And it's funny that you mentioned it, because they're my all time group. And yeah, fantasy, that definitely speaks volumes.
so we all gotta
So
do that after this.
yeah,
Everybody go
I
check.
suggest everybody, yeah, look it up on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Hear the song, listen to the lyrics of Fantasy by Earth, Wind, and Fire. Well, Shanita, it's been a pleasure. We have a lot in common, which I'll talk to you after when I go off the air. But you guys, please check her out on Instagram, as is Creations, and also Shanita World without the S. Shanita
Right.
World.
And if you are, as I say, as is an invitation. So if you are up for getting off this psychological plantation, hey, just come along. Because keep in mind that when Harriet Tubman and people like her freed themselves, they had no idea what to expect. So that's why I say this. I can't fully say what it is, but it ain't this.
Right, right.
Together, we'll create our new reality.
Exactly. Well said. All right, you guys. Please stay tuned. I'm going to be coming back and do some more podcasting. And if those who are interested, I do have a online T-shirt, and I also have clothes, and I also have beauty products online. So I'll put that in the show notes, as well as those who are interested in purchasing. Um, I know you said you do T-shirts as well, Shanita, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
my t-shirts comes in waves. So
Okay.
that's why y'all gotta me. So when they come around again, you can.
There you go. There you go. All
And
right, you.
anyone, if I'm sorry, is
No,
it okay if
no, go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Uh huh.
okay? If anyone watching, if you're in Columbus, Ohio, or near Columbus, Ohio, I will be at Nobo Arts the weekend before Thanksgiving, selling my art. So
Oh,
that's NOBO Arts. Well, arts and gifts. So I can think of, like, look them up, find them on Instagram or Facebook, and then you'll get the information about it.
and I'm sure you will have that information on your Instagram page as
Yeah.
well. Okay. Okay. All right. All right, everybody. You guys stay safe and be blessed. And I will talk with you soon. And thank you so much, Shanita. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you too, Harriet.
Okay. All right.